Dear friends, good morning to all. This is your RAPETI Suryanarayana advocate from Vizag. In the earlier sessions, I gave many lectures with regard to various topics, which are very useful and important to all practicing advocates, law students, and also for the students who are appearing for junior civil judge exams, district judge exams, additional public prosecutors, assistant public prosecutors, and also for other remaining competitive exams also, and also for to the common public. In this session, I would like to give lecture with regard to very important topic, that is nothing but maintenance. With regard to topic maintenance. Let us start the topic. If any person having sufficient means neglects or refuses to maintain his wife, children, or father or mother, that is his parents. That means if any person having sufficient means, neglects or refuses to maintain his wife or his children or his parents, that is his father and mother, then what this wife, children and parents have to do? Why? Because that person is having a sufficient maintenance. Even though that person is having sufficient maintenance to maintain his wife, children and parents, but he is neglecting or refusing to maintain them, then what these people have to do against that person? Here, the first condition is the person should have sufficient means. Next condition is he should refuses or neglects to maintain his wife, children and parents. In what circumstances that person should maintain these people? If these people is having a sufficient maintenance to maintain themselves, then whether that person is liable to maintain them? No. That person is liable to maintain his wife, children or parents only in the cases if the wife, children or parents are unable to maintain themselves. Let us see. That means if any person having sufficient means neglects or refuses to maintain his wife, children or parents, that means his wife who is unable to maintain herself, or his legitimate or illegitimate minor child, whether married or not, unable to maintain itself. Here, his legitimate or illegitimate minor children, whether married or not, unable to maintain itself, or his legitimate or illegitimate major children, not being a married daughter. Such major children, by reason of physical or mental abnormality or injury, unable to maintain itself. That means major children are unable to maintain themselves due to what? Due to physical or mental abnormality or injury, they are unable to maintain themselves. Or his mother and father, who are unable to maintain herself or himself. That means his mother is unable to maintain herself, or his father unable to maintain himself. That means even though the person is having sufficient means, he refuses or neglects to maintain his wife, unable to maintain herself. That means he is not having any sufficient means to maintain herself, or his children unable to maintain themselves. Why? Because they are not having any sufficient means to maintain themselves. Or his father or mother, who are having no sufficient means to maintain themselves. In these circumstances, the magistrate, that means the first class magistrate, on proof of such neglect or refusal to maintain his wife, children, or parents, such magistrate may pass an order to make a monthly allowance for the maintenance of his parents, his wife, children. Why? Because they are not in position to maintain themselves. So this person have to maintain them. Why? Because this person is having a sufficient means. On the proof of such neglect or refusal, the magistrate order such person to make a monthly allowance for the maintenance of his wife, children, and parents. If during the pendency of proceedings, during the pendency of proceedings of what? During the pendency of proceedings for monthly allowance for the maintenance. That means during the pendency of proceedings regarding to monthly allowance for the maintenance of wife, children, or parents. These wife, children, and parents, they are not having sufficient means during the pendency of proceedings. Then what the court will do? The court will order an interim maintenance and expenses of the proceedings. The court will order interim maintenance and expense of proceedings to the wife, children, and parents. That means during the pendency of proceedings regarding monthly allowance for the maintenance, the court will pass an order to make a monthly allowance for the interim maintenance of his wife, children, and parents, and also expenses of the proceedings. Why? Because they are not having any sufficient means to maintain themselves during the pendency of the proceedings regarding monthly allowance for the maintenance. That means they filed a case for maintenance. Until to get the maintenance, then the court will pass the interim maintenance and expenses order. Next, then when this application will be disposed of, that means during the pendency of proceedings regarding the monthly allowance for the maintenance, they filed an application for interim maintenance and expense of proceedings. Then what is the time period to dispose this application with regard to interim maintenance and expenses of proceedings? The court shall dispose the application for interim maintenance and expense of proceedings within 60 days from the date of service of notice of application to such person. That means from the date of service of notice of application with regard to interim maintenance and expense of proceedings shall be disposed of within 60 days from the date of service of notice of application to such person. If minor female child is there, she married, and her husband is unable to maintain that minor female, then who have to maintain that minor female child? Daughter. That minor female daughter shall be maintained by her father until she attains majority. Why? Because her husband is unable to maintain minor female child because he is not having any sufficient means to maintain her. In these circumstances, magistrate may order the father of minor female child to maintain her until she attains majority if the husband is satisfied that the husband is if the magistrate is satisfied that the husband is unable to maintain or is not having sufficient means to maintain that minor wife. This is regard to maintenance to wife, children and parents. Okay. If a person fails to comply with the order, which was passed to maintain his wife, children and parents. If the person fails to comply order without any sufficient reason, then what the court will do? The court passes an order to make a monthly allowance to his wife, children and parents. But this person fails to comply that order without sufficient cause. He fails to comply with that order. Then what the court will do? The court will issue a warrant. The court will issue a warrant for levying amount to due as in the manner provided for levy of fine. That means if the person fails to comply the order which was passed by the magistrate to make a monthly allowance to his wife, children and parents, then the court will issue a warrant to such person to levy an amount due of maintenance as in the manner provided for levy of fine. And even the after issue of warrant, if the person remain unpaid to make allowance for the maintenance of his wife, children and parents, even the after issue of warrant he remains unpaid, then what the court will do? The court may pass a sentence of imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 month or until payment if sooner made. That means if any person fails to comply with the order which was passed by the magistrate to make monthly allowance for his wife, children and parents, then the court will issue a warrant to levy an amount due as in the manner provided for levy of fine. Even the after issuing of warrant against such person remain unpaid of maintenance to his wife, children and parents, then court will pass a sentence of imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 month or until payment if sooner made. If order is not complied by such person, then when should file an application? Then when we have to file an application to comply such order for levy of such amount due, we have to file an application within 1 year from the date of amount due. That means from the date of maintenance amount or monthly allowance for the maintenance amount due. For what purpose? To issue a warrant. To issue a warrant, we have to file an application within 1 year from the date of amount which is granted or order for maintenance. From the date of amount due, within 1 year we have to file an application before the court to pass warrant against such person. For what purpose? To issue a warrant. To issue a warrant to levy an amount due as in the manner for levying of fines. That means if he fails to comply with the order, court will issue a warrant, and even the after issue of warrant, if he remains unpaid, then court will pass a sentence of imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 month or until payment if sooner is made. Here we have discussed with regard to order and fails to comply with the order. Discussed with order, fails to comply with the order. This is very important topic to all the practicing advocates and also to the law students. Kindly like my videos and subscribe my channel. Thank you a lot.